Hello and welcome to episode 3 of the Drunken Brainwave. I am Lee Wilcox.
And I am Adam Barrie. Roll the VT.
Come on. Hello and welcome back.
You're very quiet then.
Yeah, you know what? I was going to do it straight down the barrel and go hello and welcome to with a lot. You know, like I was going to make it sexy, but then I realised I can't do anything sexy. So
then realise you're not sexy.
Not sexy. So this is the not sexy Drunken Brainwave.
I'm sure Kelly will disagree.
Yeah, the only person in the world. Yeah. Big shout out to Kelly Cradcox. Yeah, welcome back, guys. As normal, we are normal for the third episode. We're live on YouTube, on Facebook, and on LinkedIn. Jamie, when are we going live on Instagram?
When we can figure out how to do it.
If anyone knows how to do that, please let Jamie know.
Let us plug StreamYard in. Yeah, we're back for the third episode. I'm loving the fact we've got such a good setup and we can go live. And
it's great. I do like to remind people, though, that this isn't a live working office. So if you can hear people in the background, it's actually planned.
I wonder if one day we'll get someone like if there's an argument or someone kicking off or something.
Yeah.
Be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like in the background there, you just see it. So like someone really kicks off and then like fight. Yeah.
In the background.
So what we're going to do then, we'll do one episode of Drunken Brainwave. We'll do like a Django Unchained and we'll just let two people fight in the office. To the death.
Sounds good.
Yeah? Who would you want fighting?
I tell you who I wouldn't fight. Chris Mason.
No. Have you seen that video, Chris Mason?
Yeah. Chris Mason used to do MMA. And he doesn't look like he used to do MMA.
MMA.
But yeah, he's a brute.
I've seen a video of him kicking someone in the head in an actual fight, not like a professional fight. Yeah. Not just in the street. He's not rogue.
It's not Green Street.
But I was like, oh wow. Got long legs, hasn't he? That kid.
Yeah, he's got long legs.
We digress. We're live. Today we're talking about brands, really, and campaigns and stuff. But as normal, what I really want is just some comments, some love. We want questions. I reckon I feel like we might dial someone in today. I think that's what I want to try and do. Have we got the facilities and capabilities to do that?
Oh, I thought you meant just like, you don't just mean on the phone then?
Well, yeah, not on the phone, I suppose. I could just dial someone in and just be like that.
Yeah,
would that work? We did that? Oh, yeah. Well, maybe we do that then. I still want a bit of Sam Fowler action, particularly with brands and stuff. Sam, if you're watching, we're going to ring you today. You've got his number, haven't you, Jamie?
I haven't got his number.
I thought he sent it in last time.
I sent his
Sam,
number.
Message someone up. But yeah, I'll tell you what, put your phone number in the comments, Sam. No. And we're going to dial Sam Fowler in later. As long as he gives us his number, we're dialing him in. But yeah, give us your questions, put your comments in, guys. We'll obviously be jumping to Jamie, producer Jamie, at some point. Hello
there.
Hello. For some questions as normal. How you been? This is to you, Adam.
Oh yes, no.
You all right?
Yes, I'm very well. A bit scatty, very very busy. Lots of things going on. Feeling the pressure. Overall, I'm very well, thank you.
I feel pressure at the minute. We've just been having a big meeting about exactly that, haven't we? Like, we feel like the business is going through so much change at the minute because of the growth, but then people starting as well, and then us sort of operationally changing how we're working and how we're approaching clients, how we're approaching projects, and all these things. That it's kind of like we don't know where to start almost.
Yeah, and then you've got that little thing called COVID.
Yeah, kind of just that little sprinkler across the top.
Dark
COVID.
Cloud of a pandemic that's disrupting us as well. So
knocks on a bit of uncertainty with it all, doesn't it? It's funny because we're like really like approaching on like change on how we, I guess, like strategize a lot as well through like campaigns. And one of the things that we pulled up was I've seen you comment on it. I don't know. Was it is it Katie Leeson?
Yes.
Leeson. Social Chain. MD of Social Chain, yeah. So she does a load of good content. And like they've got a good podcast and stuff that she does. Yep. Quite deep, isn't it? Like
really good.
Not
really
similar. I say similar to. It's probably similar to Social Chain's podcast in sort of how granular they get and like the subjects and topics and stuff like that. It always frightens me though, Katie Leeson's podcast, when it's video, that she looks like she's locked up in like a dark room somewhere. I'm always like, did they let her out? Like, is she okay? Yeah.
If you are watching this,
Katie, please send signals. No. But like, creates loads of good content, and she posted something about the whole like Formula One version of the Nike advert, and I've seen you comments on it, which is why it's been sort of brought up as a topic. I don't know whether people seen this or not.
was I nasty? I wasn't nasty, was I?
No, you wasn't nasty, but like, you was very to the point of like, I can't remember what you wrote.
Oh no, I said something along the lines of, "It's better to be first and a little bit rough than perfect and seventh."
Yes.
That was my point, and I think that's what we've been guilty of in the past. Is when something happens, let's say a trend, and you want to jump on it, and we go, let's just make it perfect, and everyone beats you to the punch, and by the time you release it, it's not relevant anymore, and you just look like you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
because we're so like we're trying to strategize a lot at the minute on how we approach like creatives, and it made me think of this thing with Nike and Formula One. So Formula One launched their version of like the Nike promo ad that was like, you know, the big one that was like really like mint, weren't it? Like they'd like double like cut the screen, hadn't they? And then they got two different versions of a similar. How do you describe it? Two different versions of a similar scene. Yeah. And they're like folded into each other and all that. And then Formula One did their one. It was basically like a rip-off of it. It was really shit.
It was shit. And I think it was okay.
I
feel bad slagging it off. But
no, not shit, but the production values were fine.
Yeah. But I think when you want to copy someone like that, I think you've got to do a really, really good job. If not do a better job than the original that you copied. What I will say though is that the Nike advert, that's not the first time I've seen that split screen. I've seen it before, but Nike done a much better job.
Yeah.
And actually, it was really, really relevant at the time. It was put out, so it made sense. But equally, the F1 thing, I get the idea behind it, the concept. It was celebrating two icons in F1, and one of them taking over their record. So kind of that made sense, but it was just a poor imitation of a fantastic advert.
I think sometimes you can like, and I guess it comes down into like the strategy and the planning and like the creative and these things that you get a load of people go, this is a great idea, but like the difference in the actual creative makes a big difference. So like the Nike one's like so punchy and like because of the actual content and what it's talking around, whereas like the Formula One, like slow motion of like some tires going around, it's not the same effect as someone like doing something in a football match or
wasn't
like
as impactful.
And I guess why do brands get it wrong?
I don't know, but one thing that I'm going to stick up for the creative team behind the F1 thing.
I don't even know who it was shitting on them, but
you don't even know what the objective was, because the objective could have been, let's do one. It needs to be like the Nike advert, but just not as good. That could have been the objective. If that's the case, they nailed it. But you don't know, do you? You don't know.
No, but I guess the worst thing to come out of a campaign is to be referred to another, be pinned against another campaign and not be as good as it. Like that's like the worst outcome, because then actually what happens through like platforms like LinkedIn and in the industry is that it gets pinned as like, did you see this? There's no thought gone into this. It's just been a copycat and a poor version of that.
Unless it's a parody or it's a much better version of the original, then kind of got to steer clear of it, I think.
Yeah.
Or wait a long time.
Go on. Jamie's sticking his hand up.
Hello, everybody. I just want to pick
That's
on something
really
that you said, actually. And I want to say hello to the people that have said hi to us.
Oh, right. We've got some shout outs, Jamie. Is that what you're doing?
Gaz Terrell on Facebook. Thank you for watching, Gaz.
Oh, that's my mate, Gaz.
Your
Hey,
mate.
Hey up, Gaz.
Hey up, Gaz.
I used to work with Gaz on the tools.
On the tools in Tamworth.
Yeah, he was like we had this boss that we used to work for called John Sharp. Oh, I can't believe I'm saying this. I know he's going to be watching, is he? We've got 3 people watching, and one of them's us. But he reminded me of him. It's a bit of a personal joke there. I'll leave it there.
Richard Staplehurst, he said, good morning, lads.
Morning. Another creative. I'd love to get his view on the Formula One and Nike.
Well, he's actually put in IKEA ad for their new catalogue was a parody of the Apple iPhone shot for shot, which is interesting. Because I think sometimes, like, when you do it as a parody or taking the mick out of it, it's pretty funny, and I've
Parodies
seen
are
Brad
good.
do it pretty well.
It's pretty risk-free as well as a parody. That's the point, isn't it? It's a parody. You can
Right,
never get
sure.
like you're not competing in the same way as the original was. You're not competing for the same form of attention and or necessarily for the same impact. Comedy is always a great way to be able to do something different and not at like a lower risk. It just is. Same with like, remember the John Lewis Christmas advert with the dogs that jumped out onto the trampoline, and then I can't remember who did it. I think
Joe.
it was Joe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Joe did the parody of was it
It was Trump and Hillary.
Trump and Hillary jumping on the thing? That got way more views, like by a country, by like tens of millions more views than the original. They weren't trying to compete for the same impact. They just parodied the now admittedly they sort of parodied the actual piece of content, but even if they'd parodied it and gone to the lengths of creating their own shot for shot, that would have worked, like, because they've gone for a different angle on it. They've took something that's more like culturally impactful or like relevant at that point and then gone for it. But there's loads of like cases. Another one we pointed out was the like the whole like good idea over delivery. So like the government thing at the minute with this whole like reskills stuff has now been rolled out and positioned as just being like really insensitive to it's like taking loads, basically the creative industry or the arts, as you would call it, really, not creative, because I think the creative industry comes into our bit as well, but like the arts of actors or singers, musicians, people in the theatre, whether that be like lighting, production, whatever it might be, just being told to like go retrain as a coder, and really when you get into the nooks of that, it's a really shitty thing to say, isn't it?
Pretty insulting, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like it's not really needed.
Not needed, not important.
Yeah.
And I think then what's being missed as well is like if you're an actor in a theatre and in a show, more than likely the route to that, to getting a role in those types of things, is like you've done it for like pretty much all of your life. You've not done it necessarily because it pays loads of money or but for fame or for whatever. You've done it because you absolutely love doing that. Yeah. And then when the industry gets practically closed down, the government do a whole ads campaign of being like, Fatima's no longer a ballerina, she's a financial consultant. Like, and the reality of that is that when you think about how people learn and how, like, I'm not, I would class myself more as a creative than I would anything else. But it's like this industry being shut down and then me being told to, I don't know, go and retrain as
something else,
as a bricklayer. Like in terms of like handy skills, I'm awful at it. Like really, you're a bit of a hybrid in that sense.
Yeah.
Where like you're pretty handy, but you're really creative. I'm very one-sided on the creative side of it. So you're just gonna get people who just can't do that, not because they don't want to, but because they can't. They haven't got that part of their brain doesn't function in that way. What are you looking for?
I'm looking at the images that you're talking about.
Have you got some?
No, yeah. So there's one that said it had Boris in it, and it said Boris's next job could be running the country. He just doesn't know it yet. And I thought that the amount of people and the amount of creatives and graphic designers and people in that industry that came out and was like, right, we're going to tear you a new one.
Well, that's the problem, isn't it? Is that then actually the campaign became more powerful on how shit it was and how offensive it was because people started creating loads of memes, with Rishi Sunak carrying like a Nando's tray around and, like that type of thing where it's like, well, no, we'll play your own game. And that's where it goes really, really wrong. But there's a load of people at some point who have sat in a room and been like, this is this is a really, really good idea.
Yeah, it was actually, I think it was a campaign from last year to get people into sort of like thinking more about like cyber jobs, and then they've brought it back at this time where it's like, wow,
it's even worse.
Your industry, I think it was a bad decision. Like the industry's on its knees. Don't worry about it though, because you can retrain and do something else. And it's like,
it's the same as the Puregym thing. like the geezer who came up with that thought that was a good idea. I mean, you know, I don't think it was a localized ad campaign, wasn't it? So I don't think it was ran through like a creative team or an agency or whatever. But even so, go talk to someone about it before you go and do it. You know, there's so much damage that can be done, isn't there, by doing what you think is a good idea and then not having much thought process beyond the impact of what happens after it.
We should have got them on. That would have been good.
Oh, that would have been great, wouldn't it, if we could got him on?
So I actually saw this on the radio last night, and
you saw it on the radio.
Well, I guess I didn't see.
Oh, was you watching it on
I was
TV?
listening it on to radio, and the guy who they interviewed the guy who did it, and the guy's black, and he's now had a load of racist trolling off the back of it. And it's interesting what you said earlier about like the industry jumping on these things, and like, you know, like you said about like the context and stuff.
Yeah, and you know what? I didn't know the details behind it, but I didn't think it was someone who was white. Because I just thought, I don't think anyone could be that like brash. Like, you know what I mean? Like, but equally, I don't think you can't do anything that insensitive, no matter what skin color you've got. Incredible. So,
yeah, I mean, what? So, because the notion there is that because he's black, it's not as bad.
But no, it's just that
he's got a right to do a campaign surrounding Black Lives Matter, even if it isn't insensitive.
I think what it really is just like, you know, the backlash that he's had from it. Like, he's made a mistake, and it's a really bad mistake. It's a really big mistake.
Oh yeah,
but he's now literally like can't even like leave his house.
Really? I mean, that is sad. Yeah, I don't wish that on anyone.
Yeah. Anyway.
I mean, that's a horrible way to end the segment, but I hope he's all right and everything.
I hope he's all right as well. So I want to quickly take this time to ask for comments, reviews, likes, shares, subscribe to the YouTube channel.
Subscribe, yeah, YouTube channel. Lee and Adam is the channel. Top Lee and Adam social media into YouTube. Yeah. Please give us a sub.
Yeah, how many have we got, Jamie?
Hit the like button, smash and subscribe, man.
That's it. We're absolutely killing it, aren't we?
Absolutely killing the game. We've nearly got 50 subscribers.
There we go.
I mean, I'm actually really impressed that 50 people would want to listen to what we've got to say.
Oh, yeah.
In fact, no, I'm not impressed because there's 80 people work for us. You'd think that, like, you know, at least we'd put some numbers up there.
Get some traction through the office.
Yeah, yeah. Danny, you subscribe to our YouTube channel? No, you're not. I can tell. Are you really?
I don't know.
No, he's not.
You don't know.
Head of production doesn't care.
Has Sam Fowler gave us his number?
Sam Fowler's not given his number.
Oh, Sam.
I want to do something special with Sam. I want to do something. We'll get him on next episode, and we'll do something. That's a producer pinky promise right there, right now.
Producer pinky promise. Okay.
Pinky promise. But I do want to move on to one thing that has happened this week in the office. We had to shut down the office.
We did have to shut down the office, yeah. So Monday, one of the team tested positive for COVID. So then we had to, and they'd previously been in the office the week before. So yes, we had to shut the office and get a deep clean and do all that. It's the first one we've had, isn't it? I mean, I think we've done pretty well to get to this stage and not having one.
Yeah,
personally,
I agree, and I don't think it's going to be the last.
No,
heading into the sort of like cold and flu season now, aren't we? So it's.
I always catch loads. I'll be shocked if I don't get it. Like,
yeah. I'm surprised you're still alive.
Yeah, yeah.
Lee's got a membership card for the doctors, haven't you?
More for consultants. It's even worse, isn't it? But yeah, so that's been a bit of a tricky one. You know, we had new starters on Monday as well, and we had to send them home. And you know, good experience for your induction day. And you know, we had to make a relatively big thing about it, like get your stuff, get out. And you know what? We're overcautious with it all because, in reality, could it still be on services? Well, the data says no, but we've always been in a position where we're like, well, look, we need to like over communicate, be over cautious, do more than what is expected of us, and get the old deep cleaners in. But you know, we're all back in again on Tuesday morning at 9:00. But
yeah,
I must admit, when I got the caller, there was a lot of expletives.
Yeah.
Just because you don't know what the knock-on is.
The person was absolutely fine, by the way.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And you know, obviously we can't reveal who it was. But if you're watching Dave, get lost in. That was just a joke. He's not really called Dave. But yeah, I think it is the worry for me is like I'm fine. I feel I'm fine. I'm quite fit and healthy. You know, I look after myself. But equally, I don't want to catch it and then pass it on to someone else who isn't in the family. So I think a lot of people at the minute aren't taking it seriously, and a lot of people are like, it's statistically we're all going to be fine, don't worry. But it's still, you've still got to worry about other people who aren't fit and healthy like we are, or aren't in the age group that we're in.
Yeah, and it's just a knock on, isn't it? And you don't know, particularly with the office and stuff like that, is you don't know. Like, I'm always thinking, well, I don't know everyone's circumstances personally. Like, I know their age, you know, and I know that probably, you know, most of the office are of an age where it shouldn't affect them anyway. But you don't know every person's set up, where they're living, who they're living with, who they have to potentially care for, what knock on that has. So my immediate thing is like, okay, close it down, get everyone out, do the right thing. But how many times are we gonna? Yeah, we don't know how many times we're gonna have to do that. There's no way this is going to be the last time that someone tests positive.
No.
Not a chance. So there's a lot of, I think, by bringing everyone back in the office, which I think was the right thing to do. Not everyone, sorry, half the business, the functional bits we needed back in the office. There's still that level of risk, isn't there, of then going, are we going to have to shut the office down? I mean, you know, you might get to the point where you have to shut the office down once every 2 weeks because, you know, like already in this building, there's been, I don't know, about 7 or 8.
Has there been that many?
Yeah.
I want to start working from home.
Yeah.
There's that many. Do you know how many people we started with when we moved into this building, or not? How many people moved into this building? How many people did?
It was like mid-50s.
Was it?
Yeah.
Because I reckon there's over 40 today.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's just because
There's a lot of people in it.
So we'll need, by the end of November, we're going to be at around about 80 people in the business.
Yeah.
So through lockdown, we've added like 35 people into the business, which is it's 25 people.
It's amazing. It's amazing for considering how many people are losing jobs at the minute, and that's why I'm super like proud to be able to like come through this in a strong position without being, you know, sensitive and having to watch what I say, because we are doing quite well, and you know we should be proud of that. But equally, I think about people who aren't, and then think, am I saying the right thing?
Brag area.
No, but
I'm
I'm serious.
joking.
Like, sometimes I'm a bit scared about saying how well I think we're doing, because I'm like, you got to have a bit of empathy towards people who aren't. But equally, I still want to like pat the team on the back and be like, you're doing a great job.
100%. And I think, you know, I think the way to spin it, it's terrible that is, but the way to position that, or the way I look at it, is it's really positive that we can employ more people in a period of time that people are going to need jobs, man. Like, there's going to be a lot of talented people who are out of a job just on bad luck, man. Like, you know, and they might struggle to get another one because there's going to be so many people applying for like one role. Yeah. We've seen it already. You know,
we've had it.
How many? You're getting hundreds of applications for a role. You know,
we're looking for anyone now. Any live roles now?
Producers,
videographers, production assistants. Soon to be some creatives, definitely some social media roles.
Yes,
HR role. Data will be kicking in soon as well. Like there's quite a few roles. So always check the Electric House website, guys, for new roles. That was a horrible plug on it, but I don't care. People need more than ever. People need a job, man. Like hopefully we can give some really great people the job.
Amazing. So I want to jump back to something that you said earlier in the podcast. You're feeling the cosh a bit at the minute. You're under pressure. Obviously, you've got COVID knocking around. We're growing the business. What's the biggest thing? What are you thinking about right now? What are you like? What's the struggle?
Dinner. Thinking about having dinner.
I think the biggest problem we've got, or the biggest challenge we've got, is trying to balance the right culture and then like fulfillment within people's roles, and then the growth that the business has. Because then what happens is, in the middle of that is your operations, and then when you load people in, operationally that becomes more difficult, and then unless you've got the right structure and tools and setup, people become more strained, more messy, more unorganized, and then that in turn then has a knock-on of people becoming more stressed, unfulfilled, unhappy, less willing to help each other out because they're focused on everything that's happening right in front of them. And I think that's one of the biggest challenges we've got, is as the business grows, it's not just about going, let's bring people in and they'll do the same role, because by every 2 weeks the business grows and another person comes in, it creates another part of the business. Yeah, like new teams coming in. Like if you think about like just a brand new team, it's not back in the day when there was like 20 of us or 15 of us, you could start a new team, and that new team was one person. Yeah. And they would be doing a project and it would like work with the rest of the business really well. You bring a new team in now, it's not one person. You budget in to bring in like a really experienced person to then build out a team. And that team there has a knock-on of all the operations across the business. And that's what's difficult, is that the moment we agree, I guess what people want even as well. Like, you know, like people put pictures together because they go, oh, we want this part thing to happen in our team. You do the sign-off of it, and then potentially you've not planned well enough to go, actually, well, that's going to knock on here, here, and here. And the reality is that we've not done this before. Like, I don't know. That's it. I don't know the answers to it. So when they're happening at the minute,
sorry,
these are the problems doing the lot. I don't know. Is that coming through, Sam? On that noise in the background coming through, is it all right? Yeah.
No one's dying. Don't worry. People are actually having fun. It's fine.
Yeah. Stop having fun.
I thought it was like a flock of geese going overhead there. That's what it sounded like.
But that's the reality of it, is that we've not done it before. I can like preach about things we have done and go, this is how I would approach it, and this is what you do with social media and things like that. But in terms of like running the business and growing it, I'm like every single night, I'm trying to learn how to do that. I was up until like 11 last night, sat in front of trying to watching The Fall at the minute. You watch that on Netflix? Oh, it's good. It's good. Really good. But at the same time, I've got my laptop on my lap, like doing some work and like half watching it. And Cal, what's happened? What did she say then? What's happened? And then she's like, fuck's sake, I'm trying to like, and then she has to rewind it 20 seconds for me to get a grip of it.
Yeah, I think there's an old saying, isn't there? What I forgot what it was now. What gets you here won't get you there.
Yes.
And we have learned a lot along the way, but we just don't know. You know, we've got to work really hard to understand how we get from here to what we're aiming for.
You know what my biggest challenge is? Making sure that the business doesn't eat me up and they have to bring in another CEO.
Yeah.
That's my biggest challenge. I have to consistently, every single day, try and look for something new to learn and understand and put in place, so that in a year's time, the board don't come to me and be like, look, you've done a great job and that, but the business has just outgrown you. And then I'm even in a position where I'm like, oh, yeah, you're probably right. I don't want that to happen.
Is that like a really big fear of yours then? Like that happening? Is that like the worst case scenario for you? Like, because it's a pretty scary thing.
If I'm in a position where I don't want to leave, yeah, of course. If I'm in a position where I'm like, actually, I want to, I've had enough now, then that's kind of okay. Like, okay, yeah, we'll all leave in good part. But I'm nowhere near that yet, because I don't know what to do. But I don't know whether I've learned enough to go and do this again yet. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Do you, obviously we've seen like other like big founders like Ben Francis and who's the CEO founder of Huel?
Julian Hearn.
They've stepped into like different roles in the business. So they were CEO, CMO. Is there any other like areas in the business that if you weren't doing your roles right now, that you'd actually have a fancy at?
No, I think I'm pretty much where I want to be. I think I just love being in the creative side of things. And that's where I am currently. So I don't know. I mean, I think I wouldn't mind potentially going into like filming for the original team. I think that would be quite good. Maybe as a videographer. I think that would be nice. But that's just like, you know, it's not a dream of mine. I just quite like what they do.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think when I was at uni and I was trying to get a degree, and I went to uni and I did I went there to do law, and then I did 6 weeks of it and changed courses because I didn't know what I was doing. And then I did media and sociology, and I quit that as well. And then I quit uni. Probably what I should have done was earlier on realised that I quite liked finance and numbers and stuff like that. So if I trained, maybe I could do that. separate to that, maybe like operations. Like I feel like
Scott's job.
I'm a bit of a fixer. So like as the business has gone along, I've been able to put like things in place. But I'll be honest, there's loads of people who are better at all these other roles than me. I've done most, like me and Ad have done most of the roles in this business.
Yeah.
It's only getting to now where where there's people who are coming in to do roles that I have never done before in this business, which is actually quite hard because you don't understand the nooks of it. So you don't know whether it's working or not. But we've got to the point where we've employed people who are way better at me than doing those roles.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole point, though, isn't it? To get people in who are better
Yeah.
than we are and know the things we don't know.
But then that's the fear, isn't it? Like, and this is my point. So at the minute, no one does the CEO role, yeah, and no one's done it in this business. But when does it get to the point where I'm like, actually, this is too big for me now? It's kind of the aim, isn't it? Like, I want to grow the business so much and so big that it's way bigger than me, and that it needs more than me to run it, and more for me and you to, you know what I mean? Like that's the aim, so that we can step away in 5, 7, 8 years time, whatever. My fear is that it happens in a year's time and I get booted out. And that's not because I don't think I can do the job. It's just, but there's a serious amount of consistent like fear that drives me to make sure that it doesn't catch me up. You imagine it in like, I always like think about it as this thing. It's like a boulder running down the hill, like a snowball. Yeah. And snowballs get bigger as you roll them down a heap of snow. And I'm like running away from it.
And I'm
One
part
day-
of the snowball because I can technically, with the other shareholders, vote you out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not bad. Be like a mutiny, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Like, yeah.
Yeah. So you better start being fucking nice to us.
Yeah, no, bollocks. No, so that's my biggest challenge, I think. But as the business, it's definitely operationally making sure things connect together. If anyone's got experience of doing that, just jump into my DMs.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. It is a thing, isn't it?
I thought it was slip.
Slip sounds
Slide.
Slip sounds.
Slip and slide into the
Slip and
DMs.
slide into the DMs.
Yeah.
We got any more comments or questions, Jamie? Anything knocking around?
We have got a few. Edwin Ladd from Elite Midlands.
Ooh.
Got a
Hello,
little plug.
Edwin.
Edwin Ladd.
Hello,
Ladd.
Edwin.
Hello, Mr.
Edwin.
Ladd.
He's asked us what's happening with the awards this year. On the Tools Awards.
We're missing this year, unfortunately.
They are skipped.
Yeah, we've had to skip them, obviously, due to the pandemic. And we did do a Heroes in a High-Vis Awards online, which went down quite well. But we're hoping to, obviously, to do it next year. So I think there's going to be a lot of awards that have skipped a year. And we just felt that a lot of people are taking their awards online, and I've seen a lot of the feedback that they've just not been the same. And I think for us to have put the awards out again, we wanted to be able to give it our all, and I just think in these circumstances we just couldn't.
An awards ceremony or event, or night, whatever you want to call them, they're built on the prowess of standing up in front of people in the physical format and being like, I've just won this, and having actually, people cheer. And you know what, it's the social element of it. People pay good money for a table to get some good food, take clients there, take colleagues there. It's a celebration. It's a night off. It's a night off, and online, and you can sit at home with a glass of wine and some cheese, but it still ain't the same. Do you know what I mean? You don't get that same thing. So I'm glad we're not doing it, if I'm honest, because I think it'd be a sad version of the On the Tools, and particularly with the On the Tools Awards, it's a real tear up. So you go from this mad awards to like online, just not the same.
Yeah. It's like a really good wedding without the bride and groom, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's that vibe.
Yeah.
Awesome. So I want to move on now, finally, to the Drunken Brainwave segment, to a little business that Lee's had. So last week we did a business from Adam, and this week we're doing another one from Lee. So do you want to talk to us about Geeked?
Do you remember Geeked?
I do remember Geeked. I do. I remember the logo. Have we not got? Did you not find anything?
No, I didn't find it.
You didn't look, did you?
No.
No.
I was very busy yesterday.
A prop would have been incredible.
I looked at home for the actual physical.
Oh, okay, yeah,
Didn't find that.
yeah.
But I didn't look online on my Google
It was
Drive.
the reason I wanted to bring it up because wasn't the logo like based around
Logo
how
was
you
like
looked?
this. Yeah, basically, it was like, imagine the glasses. Am I on this one? Yeah. Imagine the glasses. You had the G, the two E's were the glasses.
Yeah,
And then a K, and then a little apostrophe and D. No E.
yeah.
Geeks. And the main logo was built like that, and that was the main design. It's pink, bright pink. I've always had a thing about pink. It's my favourite colour.
Yeah.
And I did the business idea with a chap called Chris Harris, who we used to work with. And this was the exact thing you don't want people to do when they're working with you or working for you. I was basically just setting up a business whilst I was working at that business. So the printing company was part of the business I used to work for. Was like out the back, and he used to do all the printing, internal printing for like banners and designs and all that. And Chris ran that, and he'd come up with these like sort of like floral based designs, and then we came up with the name of it and everything. But I used to, because I couldn't drive at the time as well, I used to like pack all these t-shirts that we got printed, and I used to take them into Tamworth for this lady to like sew the labels in, the geek labels, and then like I'd do all the swing tags myself and got them printed with a sticker, and then I put them in a bag, and I used to walk around Birmingham going to the different like independent stores going like, would you like to proper like Del Boy, like, really it's the sort of thing that me and you would have done together.
Yeah.
And I'd unpack it. And then and they'd be like, "No, mate, no, wait, let me show you what, you know, like
Yeah.
let me show you what I got. I got this. These are a £5, these are a £6.
Yeah.
These will be great for your kitchen, you know, like it was written like that. And I used to lay them out, and 9 times out of 10 they'd just be like, "Mate, can you just pack your stuff away and
Get
fuck
out."
off?" Like,
Yeah.
yeah. But I managed to get them into a few stores, and then I managed to get them online in a few stores as well, and they started to sell. And I ran out of money, and then I had a baby, I had Ava, and then I don't know, it just sort of like fizzled. I just couldn't. I didn't have the. I basically didn't have the balls to leave my job and go and do it full time.
Yeah. Good learning curve though.
Yeah, you know what it did do? It set me up for when we did the on the tools ecom stuff. I kind of knew where to get the t-shirts
Get a bit
from
of a head
already.
start,
I knew where the hoodies were. I knew how to sort the labeling. I'd kind of like got a few bits and pieces sort of sorted. So maybe it was a learning curve for.
I think that's the thing, and I think I put a post out on LinkedIn during the week about just starting something. I think people always think about like, what's the one thing I want to do for the rest of my life? As in, like, what's this great idea? The next Facebook, the next Netflix. Whereas if you feel like you want to buy and sell something, and you want to just go and do it. It doesn't matter if it's, you know, toys. It doesn't matter if it's t-shirts. No matter what it is. It might not
Doesn't
work
matter
out.
if it's sports clothing available at.
No, I'm not plugging my Depop again. But although I did get loads of followers, maybe it was a coincidence. Yeah, I got like an influx of like.
What's your Depop account?
Pre-love retro.
Pre-love retro.
Yeah, but I got loads.
What's your What's the thing you're trying to get rid of the most at the minute? Like,
It's just 90s and noughties sportswear.
Nice.
But yeah, I'm doing a little bit on eBay as well. But you've made me lose my train of thought now. What was I talking about?
Just saying, just do it. Like,
Oh,
just sell
that
it,
was
like.
it. Yeah, just sell something, because actually, what you learn along the way will it'll put you in good stead for whatever it is you do in like the next 10 years' time. Who'd have thought we'd be doing this? I never wanted to run an agency. Never wanted to do this. When we started that Facebook page, literally didn't know anything about social media. I just knew that it was popular. I was like, we should look into that Facebook thing.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the only reason because at my old job, I used to do a lot of Facebook advertising. It wasn't my job to do it, and no one did it in the business, but I started doing it because I thought it could work for like signing new teams up to the football leagues, and it started to work. So that's why I knew a bit about Facebook when we started doing on the tools. It's the only reason I had any knowledge of like how to even like post or schedule ads or whatever. So there's always something you learn, isn't there?
Yeah.
And another thing I think I learned from that was that like, and that like I'm kind of always up for like just doing like guerrilla sales and in the sense of I'm not bothered if we were to start a business and it meant that I had to like pick, pack, sew, and then hit the streets shop to shop. I'd kind of do it because I know it can work. I know it's not the most sensible way necessarily now with the digital age and stuff. You know, talking this was like 10 years ago. But even so, I think like work ethic wise, it sort of built a thing into me of like I remember the one time in Birmingham, I was walking around, honest to God, in like pissing rain. Like it was terrible. And I was just thinking, all my stuff's wet. I'm going to get it out in this shop and it's wet. Do you know what I mean? Like, and it's clothing. So it's, even if they go to touch it, I'm going to be like, sorry, it's really wet because I'm peddling the streets here like a market stall. Do you know what I mean? Whereas now, I actually did a pop-up in Birmingham with it.
Really?
I won I applied for like a competition and I won. You remember the old, where the Yardbird was? Like, what was it called? Who's going to know this? Dan, you might know this. You know, in Brum, where the Yardbird used to be, and over the back of the town hall, and there was like a building. It's all been knocked down now. You used to like walk through. There's like a little, like a middle entry, maybe like, you know, like in town. It was like one of those.
Oh, yeah.
I love this part of the podcast.
Can't remember what it's called. Yeah, Google it. Anyway, and I won it, and it was in there, and not even that. You know, I set up, I bought a marquee for it, bought loads of stock. I had my mum and dad there trying to like help me like put it all together. Like, had some friends. I've got photos, I think, of like Phil turning up as well, who works here now as a client partner. And we, you know what, we sold quite a bit of stuff on the day.
Did you really?
Yeah, and again, it was like that little bit of I love selling stuff.
Yeah.
Particularly like clothing and things like that. It's a great feeling when you sell something.
It is. I love it, and it's almost like gambling, and that's why I love like, you know, listing stuff on eBay and Depop, and you'll get a notification and you've just sold something. You're like, God, what have I sold? And you go on there, you're like, yes, there's a bit of margin on that.
It's kind of a bit of miss. So at the minute, we have like, when we win some client work, it comes through into the Slack channel we've got, the overall Electric House Slack channel, and like it pings and says the amount and who the client is, and then people jump in and congratulate whoever's won it and stuff. But do you remember when we used to have the online store with On the Tools? At like Christmas, you'd have the Shopify app on your phone, and it would like be pinging every like
Ching, wouldn't it?
You might get 5, 6, 7, 10 an hour,
Yeah.
and it was addictive.
It was, yeah.
I didn't used to get as much done.
I remember when we done that. I think we done a Black Friday sale once. Or it was around that time. Was it Cyber Monday? Whatever it was. It was a sale day, and we'd done this Facebook Live, and this is when you used to be able to abuse Facebook Lives and leave them on for like 8 hours. And we'd done a do you remember we'd done a discount? It was like we used that. I can't remember the software. It was like a free software that we used to go live, and it was basically just images of our t-shirts and hoodies coming on.
Yeah.
Designs. And that day we done about $4,500 worth of sales, didn't we?
With like an average basket price of about 50 quid, maybe
Yeah.
even lower than that, like 30 quid or something. So it's a lot. It was like hundreds of sales in a
Yeah,
day,
it was
and for
incredible.
free.
Yeah,
Didn't cost a penny.
absolutely nothing. And we got to stage, it was about 8:30. We were like, we can't, if we keep going, we're not going to be able to
We had to turn it
fulfill them.
off, didn't
We're
we?
going to have to turn this off because it's going to get to the stage where we can't actually get these out before Christmas. So, yeah, we ended up making a decision about 8:30. Like, we're turning it off now.
You know what's funny about that as well? I actually remember that one. And I remember, because at the time, and this was the setup we had, basically it was me, you, my mom, and your wife.
Yeah.
Right. And I remember my mom ringing me on the night, being like, Lee, you have to turn this off.
I remember, yeah. And we're greedy,
Yeah,
going,
like-
well, 1 more hour, Sue.
Lorna and Sue are the ones who have got to pick, packet, print it all. And me and Ad are like, no, like we can't. And they're both going like, well, no, like it's going to take us like 8 days to fulfill it all. We've worked it out already. And we're like, yeah, we'll leave it 1 more hour, like greedy, like greedy money men. Like,
That'll be all right.
yeah.
24 hours in a
I don't
day.
care.
Sue.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Those
fun,
are the
that
days,
was.
aren't they?
Yeah. I still get that feeling now, though. Sorry, Jamie.
Carry on.
No, go on.
Ian Warnby says he's got one of your t-shirts.
Really?
Yeah.
Take a picture, Ian.
I'll have to get that in.
Yeah.
But
Same feeling though. I remember I seen one person in Birmingham walk past with a Geek t-shirt on, and I nearly lost my mind. Like,
Yeah.
But it was the same thing when you seen someone with an On the Tools hoodie on or something like that.
Yeah.
You'd be like, oh my god, like.
I seen 2 people in the town I live in who I didn't know. They were carpet fitters wearing our hoodies. And I walked into the pub and Kieran Elliott was in there and he knew them. He was like, lads. He makes them. I used to get embarrassed.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
Good old
Sorry,
days.
Jamie, you was going to say something? Was
just
that what he was going to say?
I was just gonna say, yeah, Ian Warby's still got any t-shirts, so they're out there in the world, Lee.
There's not many of them.
Not many of them.
I wonder if they'll sell on eBay, on Depop.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah.
Maybe we could do like a promotional podcast like deal on.
I'm gonna find some. I think my dad's got. I think he decorates in one or something. Do you know what I mean? Like it's that type of quality.
Yeah. Put them in the bit like our on the tool stuff.
No, the on-tool stuff was good quality. Good quality. I want to bring that brand back again, man.
I think there's going to be an opportunity. It was working.
It was working. We just didn't have the resource, did we?
Or the room.
One day. I think we're coming towards the end of the podcast, guys. It's been wonderful. I'm going to push YouTube again. We really want to create a lot of content through that channel. So hit the like button, smash the subscribe button, man.
Yeah. It's Lee and Adam, and you have to put Lee and Adam social media because we haven't got hardly any content out there. And when you put Lee and Adam in, something else comes up.
Some bloke called Adam comes up.
Yeah.
Not anymore. I did it yesterday, and we're on top of the search history.
Oh,
Just
beautiful.
Lee and Adam.
Lee and Adam, that's all you need.
Oh,
Lee
there we
and Adam.
go.
Just
Jamie's
search Lee and Adam.
solved it. But we are going to start creating an insane amount of content to push out through there. All surrounding what we're doing, I guess. Running the business, tips on social media, some not hacks because there's no such thing as a hack. I don't believe, but some processes and strategies. So yeah, please follow us on there. Again, if you're listening to the audio version of this podcast, please leave a review, subscribe, leave a review. We are going to be putting out more mini versions of this podcast as well as we go forward. And look, we're going to be iterating. We might not always be live in this office. We might be live somewhere else. We might not always be live, but the main thing is we're going to be putting out lots of content. So please give us your feedback. Message us if you've got any feedback on the podcast, on the lives. And it's been wonderful. I've been Lee Wilcox.
I've been Adam Barrie, but we need to get someone to close the podcast.
Choose someone. Who's in today who's not normally in?
Jamie, you are tasked with going around there and surprising us with someone.
Don't
bring anyone
20
rubbish.
seconds, and we'll just fill with what was the last thing you sold on your Depop account?
Yeah, I'll tell you. I sold a Ralph Lauren t-shirt on eBay this morning.
Did you?
Yeah. Well, it was last night. But
How much did you sell that for?
It was only 15 quid.
And how much did you buy it for?
That one would have been about 750.
Percent return on you.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Always coming. All better than more.
Oh, yes. Fantastic. So Depop would have been... I sold a Kappa coat for 20 quid.
20 quid. How much you buy it for?
750. It could be.
Everything's
I worked it out.
750?
Yeah, it divided it all, and if I sell everything, it's like 750.
Nice.
So not bad.
Hello, stranger at the corner.
Hello.
State your name.
Beth Dunmore, creative lead at large.
Wow.
I like that. It's your turn to close the podcast. So down the barrel of that camera there when it turns to you.
Is it?
Is it gonna?
Is it already on you?
Sorry, it's already on you. See that one there?
Oh, that one.
Yeah, you just gotta close the podcast however you want to do it.
What? However I want to do it.
However you want. I mean,
Can it be a joke?
it
Yeah.
can be a joke. Of course, it can be a joke.
Okay. This is my favorite joke ever. What is the difference between a dirty bus stop and a lobster with breast implants? Anyone?
I don't.
One is a busty crustacean and one is a crusty bus station.
Yeah.
Oh, goodbye, everybody.
Welcome.
That was
Yes.
a great way to close.
That
Well
was
done.
amazing.
Well done,
Bye.
Beth. Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.